Sales order process. The objective of this slide is to provide the reader and listener with limited yet high-level key messages. The key messages presented here tie into the datasheet on sales order process, and this datasheet should be consulted in order to understand, back up, and communicate the messages presented here. So, the sales order process in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 offers rich features that support the following areas, which are global sales and efficient sales order entry and processing. Within global sales, Dynamics AX 2012 provides efficient multi-currency, multi-language, multi-site support for organizations that sell products both locally and globally. In addition here too, for organizations with geographically distributed sales and distribution locations, Dynamics AX supports taking into account different time zones between the customer's sales office and distribution location when, as an example, giving order promises. When it comes to efficient sales order entry and processing, Dynamics AX 2012 automatically applies organizational policies to ensure process compliance. As an example, Dynamics AX 2012 may seamlessly apply customer credit limit policies upon order entry and order processing. Dynamics AX 2012 automatically applies terms and conditions as agreed to by the customer. As an example of this, Dynamics AX 2012 may seamlessly apply negotiated trade agreements upon order entry. It flexibly integrates customer processes from collaborative trading networks to solely Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 client-based interactions. As an example of this, Dynamics AX 2012 sales process supports electronic document interchange, not only for the sales documents such as order confirmation, but also for outbound shipping documents as well as invoices. It seamlessly integrates with other Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 modules to provide access to real-time inventory, financial, manufacturing and planning updates, such that the user interacting with Dynamics AX is at all times looking at real-time data and status on these data. He does not have to await cross-module batch jobs to be executed in order to look at cross-module updated data. Elements in the sales order process. The objective of this slide is to provide the reader and listener with insight into the sales process capabilities of Microsoft Dynamics 2012. It provides complementary information to the first slide. The sales order process wheel on the right side of this slide depicts a number of selected elements within the sales order process. The sales order process highlighted here and supported by Dynamics AX consists of the following key elements. Enter the sales order, which is the sales order header, apply terms and conditions, enter products and customer requirements, determine pricing and discounting, perform credit checks, perform order promising and schedule sales deliveries, which may be done a number of times, by which we have a number of circles. Then issue order confirmation and potentially issue change order confirmation if changes occur. Release for picking, which is releasing for warehouse and outbound operations. And of course follow progress of order fulfillment, such that the sales clerk is always on top of the process. Now, some of these elements, they may stand for themselves. In other cases, some of these elements, they are interlinked, such as that enter a sales order may consist of automatically applying terms and conditions, automatically determining pricing and discounting, etc. That said, apart from the enter sales order element, all of the elements within the sales process wheel, they may be sequenced and bundled and repeated in a unlimited number of different variations, depending upon the specific business and order scenario. So each circle represents a selective key element of the sales order process, and this key element may represent a specific task, a specific step, or may be seamlessly integrated to another element. That cannot be read out of this wheel. The process wheel only depicts the selective key elements of the sales order process. It doesn't depict the fulfillment and the billing processes. Of course, this extended process, the fulfillment process and billing processes, are supported by Dynamics AX with seamless integration. Presented on the left side of the slide is the customer order decoupling point. And the customer order decoupling point determines the sequence of and the number of iterations for the selective elements presented in the sales order process wheel. The customer order decoupling point scenarios supported briefly sketches the various high-level scenarios supported sales order process-wise in Microsoft Dynamics 2012. The customer order decoupling point is the axis used when differentiating the sequencing and the relative importance of the process elements illustrated in the process wheel. Now, in order to explain that, let me give you a couple of examples. In a typical sell from stock environment, basically the sales order process high level consists of the following steps and tasks. Order entry. Order entry, which is basically enter the sales order, apply terms and conditions, enter products and customer requirements, determine pricing and discounting, and perform credit limit check, perform order promising, and schedule sales delivery. All of these elements are applied more or less at the same time, or within the same task, upon order entry. So they are not as discrete as one would imagine when just looking to this process wheel. Following those elements, we have the issue order confirmation, which is the sales order acknowledgement. We have the release for picking, which releases the sales order to warehouse and outbound operations, and we have the follow-up on the fulfillment progress. Now, if we compare this to a typical make-to-order environment, the element determine pricing and discounting will in many cases be a completely separate task after the order entry elements. Now, if we compare that to an engineer-to-order environment, the first circle, which is the enter sales order, will typically be preceded by a lengthy sales quotation phase, where steps such as negotiate terms and conditions, enter products and customer requirements, determine pricing and discounting, perform credit limit check, perform order promising, and schedule sales delivery are extensively executed before the sales order itself is entered. These examples just serve to illustrate that the sales order process wheel on this slide does not itself depict a firm sequence of steps and tasks. It depicts a number of elements which can be sequenced in various ways, which can be bundled also in various ways. Just the high-level elements supported in Dynamics AX. The wheel and the elements selected here serve as an illustration of the key areas within the sales order process supported by Microsoft Dynamics 2012. Areas, of course, whose relevance and sequence is dependent upon the business context. So present this slide in that way. Thank you for your attention.